So, okay, let's double check to see if our audio is up and running. So, it looks like it might be. Yeah, it looks like we're good. Okay. So, welcome back from the rain, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I don't think it was that bad, but, I don't want to minimize it. You might have had a different experience. So, anyway. So, we're here, we're dry, and all right. So, what I want to share with you guys here is a little bit of review. I know we have this thing called an ASSA supplement. And, the idea behind that is to give you guys, fill in some gaps, I guess, of some math material that you may need. But, it's not always the best time to start at the end. It's kind of an odd thing. Sometimes it's good to start in the beginning or even all throughout, the middle. So, whatever. So, we're going to start in the beginning here. We're going to do a little bit of review today. And what I want to kind of reference this for you guys, if you said, what am I talking about? I was looking at my website here, 241, and it's still kind of under construction. Don't want to give you the long story or the story about it. But I'm going to go to this legacy library. Okay, because I'm still working on the other. So we're going to go do some geometry review. There's a kind of like a worksheet here. And I'll put that here in the comment section in the chat. So good morning to those who are at home. Snug like a bug. How you guys, how you doing? Yes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started on some review. Okay, and let's go over here where we're gonna go to the iPad, I guess, for our review. So where are we? I'm gonna go back here. There's always something to forget. Not that guy. We don't want to see that guy. Oh, we forgot more than that. Okay, so let's get what we need. Yeah. All right. All right, looks like we're pretty good now. Alrighty. Okay, so geometry review. So we're going to do a little bit of algebra and geometry review. How's that? Algebra and geometry review today. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so what I want to remind you guys is a couple of things here, right? We're going to work with some ideas here. First of all, I'm going to draw some angles here for you. Okay? And I'm going to say sometimes we do this little line to represent an angle. We'll call that angle A. And then we do these couple of these arcs here. You guys can see some arcs. So that's kind of like saying we have angle B. Okay? So I want to draw you a picture here. And here's what I want to say about this, okay? We say angle A and angle B are what? What are they? Do you guys know? These are called what? Are adjacent. Okay? So this is a definition of what we know to be adjacent angles. I should say this is a picture because it's really not a definition. So we have A here representing angle A, B here representing angle B. Now, the devil's in the details. I just want to say here, there's a point here called a vertex. Okay? And you can say there's another point over here. So there's all these real points going back to geometry. And really the idea between two angles being adjacent, how do you guys want to think of adjacency? Anybody want to tell me? How do you think of adjacency? What does that even mean, to be adjacent? Some of you guys are adjacent to one another. What do you think that means? Yes. Just right next to each other. And so to kind of remark about this, what does it really mean to be right next to each other? Well, there's two angles that share a common ray. So really in the definition, we really say they share a common ray. You see that arrow is called a ray. Okay, that arrow is called a ray, just to let you guys know. So we're giving you it's not that formal of a geometry definition, but I want you guys to get the feel of it. If you do look at a formal geometry book, they'll be a lot more formal. A ray, just so you guys know, is what you guys see in purple. It's like an arrow here in geometry, okay? So they share a common ray. And if you see that, you say that they're adjacent. Adjacent means right next to. Okay, so just simply means right next to. And so this is going to be something we're going to use in our review today, our review worksheet. And also give you guys a couple more definitions just to cut to the chase here. You might say, I'm going to give you guys another picture. They're going to be adjacent angles. And you say, well, what does adjacent mean? Well, they share a common ray. Okay. But these angles here, see if you guys remember anything from geometry, just sort of as a geometry review. What do you guys remember? I'm going to put this symbol here. What does that symbol signify? It's in red. Yes. Yes, it signifies that the angle between, or this angle here, let me do this. Let's get this, make this very clear. That when you see that square touching those two lines, what they're saying here, that this here, by the way, is a what? Right angle. So maybe we should start with that. We should say, go back, start with that. This is a definition of what we say a right angle. And a right angle simply measures 90 degrees. It's a 90-degree angle. That's going to be really important for us in this course. So if you said this, if you guys remember back maybe in the day, the measure of angle A, this is the notation, formal notation, is 90 degrees, okay? So we just want to start with that review, and I guess we'll start with this, and this is a right angle. So you go, okay, I know it's a right angle. Okay, so what do you guys think of? What does it look like in your head when you see that? Because what you guys should notice around you all over the world here, not even in the world, in this room, I see 90-degree angles everywhere. Okay? To me, that reminds me simply of a what? Of a corner. Okay, wherever there's a corner on your paper, there's a corner on your desk, there's a corner on these boards here, there's a corner on the floor, there's corners everywhere. And that corner measures a 90-degree angle there. That's kind of what you want to kind of know. So this is a definition of a right angle. Give you another definition. And you might even say, hey, if we call that angle A, call this angle A, you might even say, I don't even see anything here. Okay, well, what do we call this? This is known as what? Like sometimes people will write it this way. They'll put this little symbol here. We like to do that as well, if you guys remember. Right? That's just kind of telling you, hey, there's an arc there or there's an angle, right? What does this angle measure? And what is it called? Well, it's called a straight angle, like a straight line. So if you see, I see a straight line here, right? Well, we call that, in the geometry setting, this is known as a straight angle. And this is an angle that measures 180 what degrees. So just giving you guys a little bit of some important review here. Okay, and that's kind of how we write this as the measure of angle A equals what? 180. Okay, so we call this here, ladies and gentlemen, a straight angle, and they're referring to any straight line that has a measure of what? 180. Now, it's kind of simple. You say, what do you mean it's kind of simple? If I were to do this, I'm going to draw kind of a ghost here. See if I can draw a ghost arrow. Come on. I know you can do it. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do this here. I want you to kind of remember this as well. Doesn't this equal what? If I do that symbol, even though that arrow's really not there in the picture, it is there. It's kind of, what does that little square represent? What's the measure? Isn't that a corner, 90 degrees? And then you have another what? Another 90 degrees. I want you guys to see that here. So, in other words, we can add those two. And 90 and 90 does give us that what? 180. You guys okay with that? So just giving you guys a little bit of geometry review here. A little bit of that S. All right, so 90 and 90 is 180. All right, and now you might say, okay, Mr. Judge, where are you going with this? Well, where I'm going with this is here. I'm going to give you guys a definition of what we say complementary angles, right? So I'm going to give you two angles here. I'm going to say, we say A and B are complementary. Very informal. And, you know, sometimes, and I'm going to get some people, math people are very formal. We can be formal. And they might even say, I think I'd rather you put the angle symbol. So you can say angle A and angle B are complementary. We don't have to do that. But, you know, to satisfy the critics, right? Just want to let you guys know that. We say these things are complementary. So I'm going to draw a picture. So I started with a picture, gave you the definition. Now I'm giving you the definition here with the picture at the same time. So let me try to draw this here. I'm going to draw two angles here. I want you to notice something when I draw this, though. I'm going to say to you guys, this is the picture I started to draw. Angle A, angle B, right? So this is why I don't always put that little blue here, just so you guys know. So these are two angles now. I'm going to change the color here too, so I can emphasize that there are two different angles. So when you see this, ladies and gentlemen, angle A and angle B, what do you guys want to say? What does this mean? What does it look like to you? I forgot a symbol. There's a symbol. Now, how are they complementary? What do we know about this? They're next to each other, so they satisfy this adjacency, right? So what do we know? Does anybody know? What does that mean to be complementary angles? Just, they add up to 180. Good. Oh, 90, sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to get this coffee in me. Measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B will equal 90 degrees. This is the special criteria. Okay, now I want you guys to also write it this way too, informally. And I'm going to say it's kind of simple. If I add angle A and B, what should it equal? 90 degrees. But I want to satisfy, as many people as possible, potential critics. So when I add those two angles and it measures 90, what do we say about the two angles? They're complementary angles. All right, you guys remember that kind of stuff? Does this kind of ring a bell? Maybe a little bit of review here. Now, I want you guys to note something here. It is very, very fashionable in the world of math and science, I guess, to share with people these kind of pictures. Okay, you might say, they're going to say this is 30 degrees. And that is a missing angle. Okay, we don't know what that angle is. That's missing. And then they say something like this to you. They put a little square there. What do you think they're saying to you to do? Yeah, they're going to say something like this. What is the missing angle? And what would you guys say? How do you find the missing angle? I'm going to say you would probably do a little bit of algebra, right? Now, when I say algebra, you might go, okay, what do you mean by that? I can let this be like an angle X, ladies and gentlemen, because I just used the word algebra. This is how we can mix geometry and algebra together. It happens all the time. So if I mention this to you, I want to color coordinate this. So this is maybe the first angle, and this is the second angle. And what do you know about them? They're adjacent. And then the sum is a right triangle. You go, what do you mean? You should see this here. Is that right? You guys put that all together. So what that means, if I write down an equation, what do we say? What can we put? X plus what? 30 should equal what? 90 degrees. You guys okay with that? It's a very, very popular application of this definition of complementary angles. Okay, so I just want to put all those pictures together here for you guys. Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. And ladies and gentlemen, so what do you do now? How do we find the missing angle? Don't you subtract 30 from both sides, right? So on the left side, we just have x. On the right side, we do the arithmetic. We got to know, what is 90 minus 30? Isn't that 60 degrees? So ladies and gentlemen, this is what they're saying here. You guys can find a missing angle. All right, you guys okay with that? Is that easy? That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, so it's a very popular way of, testing people on whether they know that these angles are complementary and the definition of being complementary. Similarly, they can say, what if this angle here measures 22 degrees, right? Or how about if I do it this way? We'll say 62 degrees. they give you a picture like this. And you can call this the missing angle. Sometimes they like to use the letter X. And don't forget, you really should have that symbol here. And this should really stand out. It should be that you notice, hey, these angles share a common ray. They are neighbors. And it really doesn't matter what color you color these. What do you know about this picture? What does it say about these angles? They're what? These angles are what? They're complementary. What does it mean to be complementary? Well, what's the definition of complementary? They add up to 90 degrees. So you say, okay, this is going to add up to 90. So what do we write down? We can write down what? We could write down 62 degrees plus x is what? 90. So we wrote down the informal way, right? So, I want you guys to see that. 62 plus what? X is 90, because isn't that a corner? Right? You guys okay with that? Okay. How do you find the missing angle? Subtract 62 from both sides. And so you have to know what is, ladies and gentlemen, if I write every detail, 90 minus 62. What's 90 minus 62 going to be? Is that 28 degrees? So, ladies and gentlemen, you found the missing angle. That missing angle is what? 28 degrees here. So I want you guys to see that. What do you think? Is that okay? Not too bad? All right. How about this? All right, let's see if you guys are really awake. Okay, and then they have something like this. They say, okay, this is 25 degrees. We don't know what this is. They might put these lines. They don't have to. Let's move this. Okay, again, I want you to see a few things here. Let me point this out. You got two angles. One is X. One is 25 degrees. They share a common what? Ray, and this forms not 90 degrees. This is a straight what? That's a straight line, to compare and contrast. What do you guys know between these two angles? What are they? What's the word for this? What are these called? X and 25 degrees are, what are they called? Are they complementary? Supplementary. You say, why are they supplementary? Because this is a straight line, and we're talking about this picture now. Okay? Does that make some sense? Oh, we didn't give you that. Oh, we didn't give you that definition. Oh, no wonder you guys are looking at me like that. All right. So let's give you the, I said, okay, let's give you the definition. We say angle A and angle B are supplementary angles. All right. If you see the following here, okay? So no wonder you guys are looking at me like that. All right. Here's angle A. Here's angle B. Here's the first angle. Here's the second angle. Okay, they form again. If you see this, okay, you got this neighboring angles, share the common ray. And what's so special about this? You guys are correct that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B should be 180 degrees. Informally, we write it this way. A plus B equals what? 180. So this is what you guys are wanting to focus on and use here, right? So when I go back up here and you say, oh, now I understand a lot better because you gave me the definition. So when you see this, you say, oh, this is a picture of angles that are what? Supplementary angles. Is that right? And what could you do with those angles? Don't you add them? You say, what do I add? X plus what? 25 equals 180. So what do you guys do now with this? Right? Aren't you applying the definition right here? Add the two angles, that's 180 because they're supplementary. Right? Let's put this here. So how do we find that missing angle? Right? You do what? Subtract the 25 degrees from both sides, and what do you end up with? Right? This will be, X will be 180 minus 25. What does that equal? Is that 155 degrees? Looks like it is. So it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, the missing angle is going to be what? Go back. This is what they're saying. This missing angle is 155. So it's a very common setting to ask for missing angles. Same thing over here. If you said the missing angle here is what? 28 degrees. That's what you just discovered here. And the missing angle over here measures what? 60 degrees. That's what you just discovered. So, ladies and gentlemen, they want to know whether you know these two definitions from geometry. The definition of complementary and what? Supplementary. Okay, so you guys want to know these here. Right? What if they gave you, just to kind of check? They're going to give you something like this. Maybe they say now this measures 132 degrees here. And they might even change the letter. They're going to call that Y. Well, they can call it what they want. A, B, C, D, X, Y. And you're going to see in trig, they go to Greek letters too. It's not a big deal. It's just we run out of letters, so we'll use other letters. So, and then, you know, sometimes they try to be clear and say, here's the first angle. Here's the second angle. They want you to find that missing angle. What would you guys want to notice about the situation? What do you physically notice about this? Yeah, we have what? First angle, second angle, they share what? A common ray and what? What is that? Is that a straight angle? So what does a straight angle measure? Anybody want to tell me what a straight angle measures? Does it measure 180? Okay, so what do you guys do then? You know these angles are what? What's the definition? They're supplementary, aren't they? So what do you do when they're supplementary? 132 plus y equals what? If they're supplementary, what should that be? 90 or 180? Should be 180? Is that right? Is that true? What do you guys think? Is that okay? All right. So what do you guys do now with this information? What do you do? Subtract your what? 132 degrees from both sides. And then now that missing angle y will be what? 180 minus what? 132. Is that true? What does that give you? Is that 48? I don't know. I'm not awake. I don't have my coffee. Might have to go run a little later, get another cup. It's already gone. I don't think my wife put enough coffee here. So, darn it. I have to text her. It's not good. Is that going to be, what do you guys think? Is that 48 degrees? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. This is going to be your first kind of taste of the S. And who says it has to be at the end? It could be in the beginning. It could be in the middle. It could even be the whole lecture. It can be a whole S. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think? Is that simple? Should we test you? You guys ready for a nice test? Okay, test me. They can say this: determine the missing angle. Okay, we'll give you guys some time here, and we'll see how this goes. Where's the clock? Yeah. What's that sitting right there? Is that 48? 45. Oh, it's 45? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to try this out here, and let's try this out here together, right? So here's my 10 degrees. Here's your angle, your second angle, right? Now, they're what? What do you guys know about that? They're adjacent. It's probably a good idea to put this what? This symbol here. What does that symbol mean? It's a right angle. So, what should we say now? 10 degrees plus x will equal what? 90 degrees. Is that true? Okay, so why do we know this? They're complementary angles. Maybe we want to even write that down. These are what? Complementary. Okay, so how do you actually now determine the missing angle? What do we do? Subtract 10 degrees. So that'll be 90 degrees minus 10. What does that even give you now? Is that missing angle? Maybe we should even color it the color it is in the picture. How's that? So it's 80 degrees. So, ladies and gentlemen, that missing angle is really what? 80 degrees. So does it make sense that 10 degrees plus 80 degrees is 90 degrees? Does that make any sense? I think it makes a little sense. Okay. Good. How many people got this one wrong? Don't raise your hand. All right. Well, what's this picture of? Compare, contrast. Complementary angles versus supplementary. Good. These are adjacent angles. They're neighbors. And together they form a what? Straight angle. What happened to the... So what do we say? These are going to be what? Supplementary what? Angles. Okay, let's do a little bit of the... Let's write down the relationship then. X plus 45 degrees is going to equal... What should it equal? 180. Good, because this is a supplementary angle situation. So remember X. Okay, now, what do you guys do with this? Subtract your what? 45 degrees. X equals 180 minus the 45 degrees. What's that going to give you? What does it equal? Is that 135 degrees? So I'm going to use this X here. All right, easy peasy lemon what? Lemon squeezy. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, anybody have any questions on determining the missing angle? Okay, so let me do something like this now. Just to kind of share with you guys, sometimes what they'll do now to you is this. What is it they say here? This is 2x now. They're still complementary. Okay, that hasn't changed because we have the adjacency, and then this is a 90-degree angle. And they still want us to determine the missing angle. And you say, they're still saying, what is the missing angle now? All right, you guys with me on this? So what would you do now? Like, how is this different than what we just did? It's really no different. Yeah. What do you do? Yeah, you still use the definition. 10 degrees plus what? 2x. What should that equal? 90 degrees. Good job, okay? So they're still trying to find that missing angle there. So if they change that on you, you just put what it is. I'm going to highlight it. You guys still 10, 2x. What's this? 90. Notice, did it really change anything? Right? So what would you do now when you solve for x? Well, you subtract 10 again like you did before. And then now you say, what is this? You get 2x equals 90 degrees minus 10 degrees. And then 2x will be what? 80 degrees. So now you say, okay, here's 2x is what? 80 degrees. What do you do now here? How do you solve for x? Don't you divide both sides by 2? Don't you always divide by the number doing the multiplying to x? Right? So it cancels. You guys remember that? Okay, good. So what is 80 divided by 2? X will be now what? 40 degrees. Now, I want to say something here. The instructions, even though you're solving for x, and you got x being 40 degrees, right? You go, okay, that's how that changed things. But what is the real question? What do they want you to know? They want the angle. So in this case, you say, well, how do I get the angle if I know x is 40? Well, wouldn't you plug in what? 40 degrees to 2x. Is that true? So what is 2 times 40? 80 degrees. So I want to share this with you guys because you might see questions like that, right? So I want to share this with you that they can do this to you. They can say, okay, the missing angle is 80 degrees. So you answered the question because the missing angle in this case is really what they're asking for. But you did have to get an x value to get it. Because how you got the final answer was you said 2 times 40 degrees, and that did equal to what? 80 degrees. So I want to share with you guys what's going on there. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then similarly, they can take this example. Let me modify this one here. Okay, let's modify this one on you guys. And now I'm going to change it this way. I'm going to say, what if they gave you here x plus 20 degrees? Okay. And it's the same question, determine the missing angle, right? So I want to copy that. Now that missing angle is in green, so how am I going to get the missing angle, ladies and gentlemen? If they modified this on us, right? What do we do now with that modification? Do you guys know what you do? What do you do? The definition of what? Good job. Supplementary angles. In other words, you take the first angle, which is x plus 20, and the second angle, which is 45, and then that better equal, what should that equal? 180 degrees. So what's 20 plus 45? 65 degrees, 180. Is that true? You guys combine those like terms, right? Now, what do I do with the 65? I can subtract 65 degrees from both sides. And now we get x going to equal 180 degrees minus 65 degrees. What does this give you? Is that 100 and what? I don't know. What's 180 minus 65? Anybody know? Huh? 115 degrees. Good job. Now, this is a value of x. But is that x the missing angle? No. No, it isn't. You're not done. What do I mean by that, right? So I got to go back and plug in what? The x value here. So I'm going to have to now take the 115 plus the 20, and what does that give you? 135 degrees. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, the missing angle is what? 135 degrees. Easy peasy lemon squeezy? Is that right? You guys okay with that? Oh, is that, what do you guys think? Is that okay? Should we have you guys try it out? Let's have you guys try these examples. Let's see something like this. Okay, you're going to determine the missing angle. We're going to give you guys some time. I want to see how this goes. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys notice about, I would say, question 3? Maybe we should make sure that we can see this and this. Those are important details. Would you guys agree? So for question 3 and question 5, what kind of situation is these two? Complementary angles. You guys okay with that? So that's for question 3 and 5, complementary angles. So for number 3, we're going to write down, let's do 3 first. Okay, so we're going to write this down. I'm going to say what? What do we write down? 22 degrees plus what? X minus 18 degrees. And what does that equal? 90 degrees. You guys agree with that one? Because the angles are complementary. So 22 plus X minus 18. And then what does that give you, right? Combine like terms. What do you got? Yeah, we're going to say 22 plus 18. That'll be X plus what? 4 degrees will equal what? 90 degrees. Now what do you guys do? Subtract 4. What does that give you about X? 86 degrees. Is that true? Now, that's the value of X. X is 86. But does that mean that this is the angle? No, go back over here. Replace this X with what? 86 degrees. Is that true? So then now what you have to do then is you have to find what is 86 degrees minus 18, right? So maybe in your calculator you say 86 minus what? 18. What does that mean the angle is? The angle is what? 68 degrees. So this is a 68 degree angle. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the answer that they're looking for, okay? Did you guys see the work there in question number 3? Easy peasy? All right, now let's do 5. I know we're going out of order, but I want to focus on the two complementary angles. So whenever it's complementary, the sum is going to be what? Isn't the sum going to be 90? Okay. So x plus 3x plus x, isn't that 4x? Plus 12 degrees will equal 90 degrees. What do you guys do now? Subtract the 12 degrees. Okay, so you get 90 minus 12. You get 4x is 90 minus 12. What's that going to be? Do you guys know? I think it's 78 degrees. Is that true? Okay. So when you divide both sides by 4 now, to get your cancellation, you say x is 78 degrees divided by 4. Do you guys happen to know what that is? You say, okay, 78 divided by 4, and you get 19 point what? Isn't that 19.5 degrees? Okay, so I got 19.5 degrees. Okay, so far so good for x. However, is that the angle? No, you say, I have to go back with that 19.5 and I have to add 12 degrees to it. So I got to go back. 19.5 plus that 12 degrees, what does that give you? Is that 31.5 degrees? So, ladies and gentlemen, final answer here. 31 point what? 5 degrees now. So this is going to be finding that missing angle. Going back, doing a little bit of algebra and geometry review. These are complementary angles, 3 and 5. Now, what about 4 and 6? What do you guys know about those two? Supplementary angles. How do you know they're supplementary? They're adjacent angles. Adjacent angles that share what? That common ray, and then that's a straight line. So this means they're what? Supplementary angles. Supplementary angles, we say what? 160 plus x minus 40 degrees. What does that equal when they're supplementary? What do you guys know? What does that equal? 180 what degrees? Good. Okay, you guys okay with that? So I might have to color coordinate this so you guys can see the details. Okay, so what happens when I do our combined like terms? We get what? 120 degrees plus x will be what? 180. Right? Because 160 minus 40, isn't that 120? And then what do? Subtract 120. And now x will be what? 60 degrees. So now you have 60 degrees for x. Okay, however, you guys know that's not the final answer. So 60 degrees goes here. Okay. And then what is 60 minus 40? Isn't that going to be what? 20 degrees. So the missing angle is in fact what? 20 degrees. So just doing a little bit of some algebra here to find that missing angle. All right, what about this next one here, the last one here? 4x, 60, they're adjacent. Isn't that a straight line? So what does it mean? What word do we want to use here for this? Supplementary angles? Okay. So we say what? 4x plus 60 should be what? 180 degrees. Good. 4x, 60, straight line, supplementary angles. Now let's do some algebra. Solve the equation, subtract 60 degrees. So you have that 4x is going to be 180 minus 60 is what? Is that 120? Is that true? So when you solve for x, you're dividing both sides by 4. What does it mean about your x? 120 divided by 4, what is x? So you get the value of x. It is 30 degrees, ladies and gentlemen. And so when you plug in that 30 here, right, this is 4 times 30, which is what? 120. So we plug in the 30. And this is going to give us the missing angle. So it should make sense that 120 plus 60 would be 180. So ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of a geometry algebra review. What do you guys think? All right, so what I'm going to do now here is I'm going to take some row here for you guys. put the lights on, see who's here, who's not, and let's take some roll. So if you're at home, please print your name in the comments section. And let's see. And again, I can't see, and it's dark and it's small. And Layla?
Here?
Abuad?
Yeah.
Okay. Cesar Aguayo. Julissa Aldaco. Julissa? Anthony Aquino. Anthony? Melissa Basoduela. Okay. Sofia Bautista. Sophia. Ivan Botadella. Ivan. Eric Cervantes. Brenda Chavez. Brenda Chavez is here. Jonathan Chen. Ray Cruz. Evelyn Cubis is here. Alexandra. Okay. Julian Dianda. Satali Martinez. Cesar Flores. Joshua Galvan. Lizzie Gonzalez is here. Vanessa Juarez. Brian Leon Hernandez. Jeffrey Lipe. Hector Lopez is here. Isabel Lopez. Winter Lopez. Alejandra Mancia. Sebastian Mata. Emily Mendez. Emily Mendez here. Ruben Mendez. Jose Mendoza. Sydney Mikaru. Tavoy Nguyen. Kimberly Oliveras. Ayan Ortega. I think Ayan is here. Samuel Pacheco. Roberto Salas. John Saldivar. Myra Santiago. Myra here. Steven Sosa. Isaiah Tapia. And Luis Villanueva. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right. So, here's a little bit of review. We'll see you guys tomorrow and do some more review. So, take care and stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Let me ask you guys a question here, see if you guys know this, right? What kind of shape is this? Anybody know? What are you looking at, by the way? What is that called? That's a triangle, right? And so you might say every triangle has 3 vertices. We label them A, B, and C maybe, right? So every triangle we have is vertices, has these vertices. But you also have, in relation to those vertices, some, interior angles. So right in here, there's an angle measure. We'll call that angle A. And then right in here, this vertice called B you got an interior angle here, and then you got a vertice called C, and then you have that interior angle there. So very often we like to use this kind of system where we put the 3 dots, those vertices, and they associate them with angles. So do you guys remember? I'm going to give you guys a fact. These are called the internal angles. For any triangle, see if you remember, any what? Triangle. What do you guys know about the interior angles? What is the sum? So I'm going to say this. The sum of the what? Interior angles measures, what does it measure? 180 degrees. Good job. It's 180 degrees. Now, in short, I'll use some very strict geometry notation to satisfy the people who care about that strictness, right? So I'm kind of writing down the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C equals 180 degrees. Now, there's a reason. Maybe we'll get to see the reason today. But, you know, sometimes all we can do, or all we do is just say A plus B plus C is 180 degrees. So, you know, I want to give you the formal notation, which you guys see up here, and the informal way to kind of describe it. A plus B is C. I'm sorry, A plus B plus C is 180. So I want you guys to remember that important fact, okay? Because, you know, and there's a reason why it's 180, and I can prove it to you. I've been proving that for years. But I want you guys to understand that this is really what we're saying. Remember, A is orange, B is green, and then brown is C. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the sum of these angles is 180. And there you go. All right, you guys okay with that? All righty. Yeah, we got it in there. Good job. Okay. Does that seem familiar? Do you guys remember that? All right, so in relation to what we did yesterday, just so you guys know, just like what we did yesterday, they can say something like this to you. They can put in here the following. You can say you got 2x here, you got x, and here you got x plus 10 degrees. Okay, so they put in these expressions for every angle. And what they're going to say now is this. They're going to say, oh, essentially the following. Determine the missing angles. And you say, what do you mean missing? Well, values, right? What they mean is the values of the angles. So it's kind of the same thing that we did yesterday, just as a review. A little bit of algebra, a little bit of geometry, because we use that in trig. We use this information, right? We need these skill sets. So you might say, Mr. Judge, how do we do that? How do you guys think we do this? Anybody have an idea? What do we do? What is angle A? 2x. Good. So we're going to write down 2x plus, what's angle B? X. Plus, what's angle C? X plus 10 degrees. We could put x plus 10. And that should equal what? 180. So if you want to put the degree symbol, you certainly can. Here's your 2x. Here's your x. And I want you guys to see visually here everything that we are doing here, okay? So I want you guys to see that you're simply using the fact that the sum of the interior angles for any triangle measures really what? 180. All right, you guys okay with that? All right, so now yesterday, what do you think the game plan's really going to have to be, just like yesterday? They're going to say to do what? You're going to have to solve for x to get the value of x. Is that true? And that's why I'm referencing what I referenced earlier today, which is you may say, hey, Mr. Judge, I want to see some algebra. And I'll say, sorry, you guys. They say you know this already. They don't offer courses in that anymore. And at least here, I don't know. Maybe one day. But at least I have memories from my what? From the past here, right? At least I got this stuff for you guys. All right. So maybe you want to take a look at that. Cancel your Netflix. Watch some algebra. Is that right? All righty. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, skip back. Okay. So, you guys remember you have to combine like terms, right? So, we have 2x. We have x and x. What does that give you now? Right? 2 apples plus an apple plus another apple gives you 4 apples. Is that right? Plus 10 degrees will equal 180 degrees. What do you guys do now? You subtract the what? 10 degrees and you end up with 4x equals, what's 180 now? Right on the right side. What's 180 minus 70? I'm sorry. Minus 10. Let me get out my TI. I'm trying to give all the answers. I get too excited. What's 180 minus 10? You guys know? 170 degrees. Now, how do you solve for x? Do you guys remember? You always divide by the number doing the multiplying. So this 4 cancels, and you're going to be left with what? X. 170 divided by 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, clear this out, and you say what? 170 divided by 4 will give you, what's this answer? Anybody know? What did you just get? You got 42 point what? 5 degrees. 42 point what? 5 degrees. That's the value of x. But is that your answer? Why do you guys know that's not your answer? What do they want you to do? What are the missing angles? I mean, they should say determine the angles. A, B, what else? And C. Is that right? So you might say, how do I get those? Well, you got to plug in now. Wherever there's an x, 42.5, 42.5, 42.5. Is that right? So if you said to me, well, what do I say? Well, angle A will measure, what is this? 2 times 42.5. Okay? So it's going to be 2 times 42.5. Angle B, what's angle B? Oh, it's x, it's 42.5. So you already have 1. There's angle B. And then what is angle C? You say, what is C here? 42.5 plus 10, is that right? All right. So then angle C will be, I could do this easily. It's 42.5 for angle C. But what was angle A? Angle A is going to be what? What's 2 times 42.5? What is it? Is that 85 degrees? And ladies and gentlemen, there you guys go. Here are your answers. Okay, you guys okay with that? Here's the answers. Let me get something here. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you're going to use some geometry that you guys already know and love. That the sum of the interior angles for any triangle measures what? 180 degrees. There you guys go. So, I want to share that with you guys, okay? Because you might say, why? Well, let's go back here. I did create for you guys, or I do have here in Canvas. We're starting to put some homework there. I don't even know how to get rid of this. What is this I don't need? Can I get rid of that? No. Assignment. You go, what is assignment? You're going to see this soon. Homework 1. I got supplementary material here. So when you click on this link, hopefully it works, it takes you to really my website, the new one. I can even show you where it comes from. I'm going to change this video. I'm going to change this video. I'm going to put our new video for the class here. And I have this worksheet here called Geometry Review 1. Does this look a little bit like what we did yesterday? You go, okay, there's some questions there. Oh, it looks like what we did yesterday. Is that right? Okay. And then it looks like, wait a minute, it looks like what we're doing right now. You go, oh my God, Mr. Judge, you did that? Yes. Okay. So you got to do some review here. You can do another and see how that works. I even put the answers. Do you guys want to know the answers? What do you guys think? It's always helpful, don't you think? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on our way to doing a few things that are going to be helpful for us. Let's try some more. But before I proceed, anybody have any questions on that? Okay, let's try another one. What do you guys think? Are you guys glad it's not raining anymore? I wish it. I actually wish that it would rain like this at least once a month. Clean everything out. Clean your cars. Water your lawn. You know what I mean? Clean the streets. Woo! Clean the air. Man. I don't know. Not too bad. All right. Let's try this here. See what you guys think now. Let's change some of these here. Okay, and so now you might say, what if they gave me this, just like your worksheet there. They gave you x minus 15 degrees. They gave me 3x here, and maybe they gave me 2x plus 40 degrees. Okay? They want me to find the angles here. And we have to, again, use what fact, since we have a triangle, and the angles they're referring to are the interior angles. So what do we do again? Do you guys remember? We're going to have to start with what? X minus 15 degrees, right? Because isn't that what A is? And then what do? You add 3x. Why add 3x? Isn't that what B is? Right here. And then I add 2x plus 40 degrees, and what will that equal? Anybody know? That equals what? 100 and what? 80 degrees. All right, you guys okay with that? Isn't that what you guys are using? And then you said I canceled that Netflix. I reviewed a little bit of beginning algebra, pre-algebra, and I know x plus 3x plus 2x. What does that give you? Do you guys know? What does that give you? That could be what? 6x. Good. Combine those like terms. Negative 15 plus 40. Do you guys know what that's going to give you? What's negative 15 plus 40? It's going to be what? Plus 25, and then that'll be what? 180. Okay. Now what do you guys do? How do you guys solve for x? You're going to have to subtract what? 25 degrees. And you say, okay, that's going to give me 6x equals, what's 80 minus 25? 180 minus 25. Do you guys know what that is? Isn't that 155? Is that true? 155? Okay. Now what do you guys do? To solve for x, you always divide by the number doing the multiplying. And then that's now going to give you x equals 155 divided by 6. Okay. 155 divided by 6, ladies and gentlemen. And then you go, wait a minute, what is this? You say, what are we looking at? Do you guys know what we're looking at? Yeah, you're looking at a decimal. And so that now opens the door to another problem and another issue. You say, what's the issue? What do we write down as an answer? Okay. So what I'm going to share with you guys is this. I'm going to have you guys also approximate some of these answers. I'll give you this instruction. Approximate to, like, in this case, the nearest what? Tenths position. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today too. How to what? Approximate. You're going to approximate to the tenths. So do you guys know where the tenths position is? Well, we'll see. We're going to do a little bit of S today. What's the S? Supplement approximation. So the tenths position here, like if I said this to you, you go back to that calculator. Because you are approximating, you want to use this approximation symbol, okay? And I'm going to write down the digits you see here. 25.83333. You see that there. And then, do you guys remember for place value? Okay. I'm going to do a couple of things here. Put a decimal. We're going to need to know where the tenths position is. And in order to do that, we got to know something about the place value system, right? So my decimal is here. What position is the digit to the right? What's that first position? There's the what? Tenths position. And then to the right, what do we call that? Hundredths. Good. Okay. And then you have the what? Thousands position. And after that, you have the what? The hundred what? Thousands position. Okay. Tenths, hundred, thousands. Oh, I'm sorry. 10,000s position. So we forgot to put the 10,000s. We've got to get that coffee in us. 10 what? Thousands. And then, so this is kind of start with our place value. What about the digit to the left? What position is that? The ones position, also known as the whole number position. And then you have the what? Tens. Notice the prefix now. Ones, tens, and then we have what? Hundreds. So when they say approximate this to the tens position, the 8 is in the tens position. You look at the digit to the what? To the right, and it's a 3. So we're doing a little bit of S here. So what does that even mean? Do you guys remember? I'm going to put some facts here. If the digit is a 0 to 4, what do? You leave the digit in the place value system. You leave the digit in the tens position, the indicated place value. You leave the 8 alone. You leave it alone. So you say, okay, I'm leaving you alone, but you erase everything else. So in other words, I'm going to put that in our notes. You leave the digit alone. You guys remember that? So what that means is you have approximated your answer to the indicated place value. This approximation is to the what? Tens position. Okay, you guys okay with that? A little bit of this thing we call S. Okay, now if you said, what about if the digit, what's the other situation? There's only 2. If it's a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, what do? You add 1 to the digit. And that's to the digit in the what? Indicated place value. So these statements apply only to the indicated place value. Okay, do you guys remember this? Right? You guys good with that? This is the system that we use to what's called approximate or estimate. Okay, this is gold, and sometimes we're going to do that. So that's why we have to talk about it. Sometimes we have to give our answers to approximate place values, okay? And there you go. Now, that doesn't give you the angles. That gives you the value of what? X. Question. Nope, you're good? Okay. All right. So how do we get the other angles now? Yeah, what is 8? What was X again? I'm just curious. I forgot already. 25.8? So wherever there's an X, you put what value? 25.8. And over here, this would be what for X? 25.8. And then you have what here? 25.8. So wherever there's an X, here, 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 you plug in that 25.8. So for A, how do you get angle A? Do you guys know? Let me do that. Let me just do that in our calculator. You take 25.8 minus what? 15. So 25.8 minus what? 15. Is that what A is? Do you guys see what I'm saying? So A is going to be 10.8. So, okay. Maybe we'll put it here. And I'm going to use the approximation symbol. Why would I use approximation? Because your X is approximate, which makes your A approximate, and it makes your B approximate. So we're going to put the approximate values. And so C is also approximate. So when I go back here, we say, how do we get B? B is 3 times 25.8. So 3 times 25.8, what is that going to give you? 77 point what? 4. Do you guys see that there? So we'll say, where's B? 77.4. Now C, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be what? 2 times 25.8 plus 40. So we're going to take 2 times 25.8 plus what? 40. And what does this give you? 91 point what? 6. So C is going to be 91.6. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, did I make a mistake? Oh, what did I do? I'm not awake. Let's double check. Is B wrong? Oh, A is wrong. Oh, sorry. We did it right, but we wrote down the wrong answer. That sometimes happens. Okay, I see your point here. Okay, so we got A, B, and C in the calculator. Do you guys see that there? And we got X. We got all the information we need in this calculator. So now we can write this down and say what? Here's our A, here's our B, here's our C, here's our X value. So those are the kind of things they're going to ask us. So what I want to let you guys know here is, yes, we got some more kind of work to do here, right? And we have approximation. So we're going to have some S here for you. How to approximate. Okay, anybody have any questions on what we just did? Is that easy peasy lemon squeezy? It is? Okay. Well, then let's have you guys what? Let's have you guys try one. How's that? You guys now know that it's always good to get you guys to try this. Why? Why is that always good? So that you could maybe make a what? Mistake. You go, what? You want me to make a mistake? I'll say yes, I want you to make a mistake. Why? Why do I want you to make a mistake? Because how do you learn? By making mistakes. You don't really trust me on this one. Everybody has it backwards. People think you're supposed to know how to do everything already. Really? No. Learning is about making mistakes. So you're not going to learn unless you try, and that's the idea, unless you make a mistake. So, okay, let's try this out. X plus 60, X minus 10, 2X. And you're going to find the value of X. You want X, you want angle A, you want angle B, you want angle C. And if you have to approximate, I'll say approximate to the what? The 10th position. That first digit to the right, tenths. Okay, let's get out our clock and let's see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through this process. You guys know what the process is again? Here's A, here's B, and here's what? C. Okay? So you're going to take again what? X plus 60 plus x minus 10 plus 2x, and then that's going to equal 180 degrees. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's your A, and here's your B, here's your C, and the sum has to be again what? 180. Is that true? Okay. So remember, you're going to have to solve for x if you're going to get all those values now. So we can combine our like terms. X plus 2x, what does that give you? That's 4x, ladies and gentlemen. If I add 60 and I subtract 10, what's that going to be? Right, what's 60 minus 10? I think it's plus 50, is that right? And then that equals the 180 degrees. So double check, ladies and gentlemen. And so if you're going to solve for x, you guys remember, what do? You're going to have to what? Subtract 50 degrees from both sides. And on the left, you have that 4x equals, right? Do the arithmetic on the right side. What's 180 minus 50? Is that 130 degrees? All right, now again, what do you guys know you do to solve for x? Right? You divide both sides by the number multiplied to x. In this case, it's 4. And so again, now, ladies and gentlemen, you get x is equal to, what's 130 divided by 4? I'm going to clear this out. 130 divided by 4 is 32.5 degrees. Now that's equal, and that's already to the what? 10th position. Is that true? So there's no approximation here because it's already in the what? The 10th. So here's your value of x. All right. Okay. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, 32.5 degrees. What do you do with that number? Wherever there's an x, replace it with that 32.5 degrees. There's an x over here, replace it with what? 32.5. Here's what we're saying. This will give us A, this will give us B, and replace this x, 32.5, that'll give us C. Is that true? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. So let's do this in order, A, B, and C. So when I need to get the A value now, we're going to say A will be, this will be equal, not approximate. B will be equal, not approximate. C is equal. So I'm going to plug these in order, A, B, and C, into the TI, right? All right, so you say we're going to take what? 32.5 plus 60. This will give us A. So we get 92.5, right? And then for B, 32.5 minus what? 10. Good. 22.5. Now for C, that's 2 times what? 32.5. And that's going to give us 65. So double check and make sure if we plugged all those values in, right? Okay, so you should get now, let's write them down. A was 92.5 degrees. B is 22.5 degrees. And then C is that 65. So ladies and gentlemen, you get your what? A, B, C. And that's what they're asking for. Okay, so is this kind of a nice review? You guys think of a little bit of geometry and algebra? Okay, these kind of things are tools that we need to know how to do when we do trig. So this is kind of a geometry review and, algebra review. And then let me ask you guys another important thing about triangles, see if you guys remember. Okay?